independence. Meanwhile, I've been reading his neck while waiting to start the show. Boyzone's gorgeous Shane Lynch is here. Lovely to see you. Is it a coded message on your neck?
Everything's in code.
But if it's
always.
a verse of Irish poetry, if it's part of the Bible, but it's all
one of the
inspiration.
Boyzone songs.
Really lovely to have you here. And Ben, your great mate, he's here as well with us. So for Surface, who have you got? Sheer agony. I like you a lot. Oh. Joining us, broadcaster John Gaunt, talent manager Caroline Monk, and relationship blogger Natalie Liu. Let's start with you, John.
Yep.
Does it matter if you actually say it, if deep down...
Yeah, I think if you feel it, you should say it. And I think saying I love you is important. I think to end a conversation on the phone, to say to your wife or your kids, I love you, what's wrong with that? I don't think men should be embarrassed about it at all. As long as you mean it. No point in saying it if you don't mean it. And too many people say it before they actually know whether they're in love or not. There's a difference between liking or getting off with somebody or being physically attracted to somebody and actually loving somebody.
When you fell under the spell of the current Mrs. Gaunt...
The only Mrs. Gaunt. She's watching. Careful.
How long did it take you to say, not just you're lovely or I fancy you, you're hot, you're cute, but I love you?
Yeah, I was pretty quick, to be absolutely honest with you, although we took 7 years to get married. I mean, it's a bit like having something from the catalogue. She had me on approval. And then instead of having the 7-year hitch and, breaking up, we actually got married and because we wanted to have children. Bit old-fashioned, that, eh?
Very old-fashioned. Almost unheard of these days.
Said, right, I tell you what, we've been together now best part of 28 years and I still love her as much today as the first time I said it to her.
We know she's watching,
but we've
so
had
that's
bad
all right.
times.
Whatever
No,
you
we've
want
had
to
bad
say,
times like
OK,
everybody.
blah, blah, blah. But this is the
it.
question. When you said
silly.
to her, I love you, was there a certain amount of trepidation in case she just went, what? Or like that thing where he goes, well, I like you very much, which is just terrible.
If my memory serves me right, and most of my memory's in sepia, she didn't say it straight back to me. It took several weeks. So there was that sort of moment where I thought, is this the one or is this not the one? And have I done it too quickly? So there you go. But I've always had a big mouth and I've always sort of led by the lip, as you know.
I know that. Let's just bring Shane into this one, because obviously, without indulging in stereotypes, there is a kind of reputation among the Irish for a certain level of blarney, which means that if an Irishman says I love you, you might think, now, is he just spinning me a good old yarn? Does he mean it? Is this just too easy, too glib?
I think, funny enough for me, and I'll tell you my story in respect of my wife, I actually told her, rather than saying I love you, I said to her, you will love me. From the beginning. Ooh. So it was a very different twist on things.
Is that arrogant? Was it a challenge?
No,
what was it?
This was just stepping into a domain where the ball was in her court in what do I do with such a comment? And which buys you time, you know what I'm saying? It bought a lot of time, we could work things out. So I think it worked.
Most women would have given you a smack around the chops, mate. No, you got away with that.
No, she did have a moment of, well, what does that mean? But I liked it. Yeah. I really liked it. This is early.
She didn't say to you, but do you love me?
No, nothing like that. Because that doesn't end you. That's the shock factor, isn't it? What does that mean? You know what I mean?
You will love me.
Let's
Let's bring Caroline Monk in on this. Now, I wanted you to be on this programme because I know of old you do have a particular issue with the saying of the three little words, I love you, don't you?
I don't. Unless I've never really felt it, though. I don't think I've ever felt it until last year. And I actually did say it, but it nearly killed me. It's like,
Explain why. What's the problem?
I don't know. I think it's either fear of rejection, but also going back to my childhood, my dad and mum never said it. But I knew they did love me, but they never said the words. So I never heard it at all around me. So when someone used to say it to me, they go, I love you, Karen. I go, yeah, thanks, cool. That's brilliant. But I can't.
No, I think that's fair.
I couldn't say it. Fair, yeah. I couldn't say it at all. And I still feel it really hard. I can say it to dogs and children and people.
What about when they said it to you?
What, men?
Yeah, men. Somebody must have said it.
Hundreds of them have said it, and I've just gone, thanks. Oh, that's cool.
I mean,
I said, see you later.
It's true, isn't it, that you once sought out counselling for this issue? And the counsellor tried to give you an alternative phrase because the words I love you stuck in... You've forgotten. I remember it because it was so peculiar.
Well, what did she tell me?
She told you to say Zebedee.
That's right.
Do you remember?
Oh, and I said it loads of times.
Yeah.
I was going around Zebedee, 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 Zebedee like that, but I knew I didn't mean it.
You knew you didn't mean it. It was easier to say that than say I love you because you didn't mean it.
I forgot about that.
Lord, let's bring Natalie in on this.
I hear from a lot of women in particular who either experience somebody telling them that they love them within days or weeks of meeting, or who have never, ever heard the word. And I think it's more about finding somewhere of a middle ground where you need to have both the actions and the words, because some people are like loose with words. They're like, I love you, I love you, I love you. You know, I want to break up. I love you. You know, I did something wrong. I love you. And really, there's no point in saying the words if you don't really value them and you don't realise the responsibility that comes with it. So you can't really go, I love you, but I don't want a committed relationship with you, you know, or I don't really want to be responsible, you know, for my part in the relationship. But I think it's saying I love you makes you feel vulnerable, because
that's the whole thing. You've laid out your heart on a platter, haven't you? I love you, therefore I declare that I care more about you than almost anyone else in the globe. Let's bring in the beloved on this one. Let's blow the beloved a little kiss.
I love you.
I love you too.
No,
God, how slushy and revolting is that? I'd turn over
on
if I
live
was
TV,
watching
I know,
this.
terrible,
I'm sorry,
terrible.
please forgive us.
But
we'll try not to be doing it.
you know me, I'm a big lover, and I love the word love, and I didn't say... I am a big lover. But I didn't say I love you too early for fear of losing you, and I do play that game, and I have played it with girlfriends before. I think if a man sort of comes in and says he loves you too early in the game, the woman's likely to run the other way. But yeah, no, I agree with you, John. You know, you should be able to say love whenever you want, and also with love, it's different. It's different to different people. See, I might love you, but that might not be your idea of love. So there is that as well. So different people have different ideas of love. So, you know, but I love you for the record. Kath?
I think there's something a little bit creepy about a guy who says, I love you too early on in the relationship.
So you'd run the other way as well?
There's a sort of slightly stalker-esque element to it, isn't it? But I'm quite a reserved person. It took me a long time to tell my husband I loved him. It was about 3 months, I think. But having said that, we got married within 6 months.
OK, so 3 months is like
yeah. So, but I think the love I feel for Andy now is so much different from when we first met. I think I fell in lust.
Yeah.
We both fell in lust.
Yeah.
And then it's grown to something so much deeper and substantial than it was in the early days.
Yeah. Doreen?
I'm one of those girls that will just fall in love after 5 minutes, you know. You know, I love being in love, and I love, you know, the whole romantic aspect of love. But I think as years have gone by, I've learned, you know, like you say, the game, you know that the minute you just start saying, I love you,
People
he's
tend
gone.
to go,
That's his, you know, he's in the Ferrari, gone very fast. But
now we see why you love him. He's got a Ferrari. Now we get the whole picture. It's easy to fall for.
I mean, the speed of the car, you know, he's gone.
Oh, right, OK.
Yeah,
Now, listen, we went out on the street to see what you thought about this, and I should tell you before you watch this, everyone suddenly went a bit weird. When we asked you to talk about love, you freaked out. Have a look at this.
Well, if you check...
So it was a right skirmish to get people to talk about this, especially men. They were like, nah, don't want to be on, no, I'm not discussing that, mate, move away with your camera. I mean, why? Is it because you kind of lose points, you lose power as soon as you tell someone you love them?
No, I think in a man's perspective, it's an unconfident man who can't say I love you. It's him who's more fearful of the woman being the head of that relationship. I think a man needs to take control and say I love you confidently, strongly, and receive that relationship in equal measures of what you were saying earlier, to do with showing love and speaking I love you.
And Natalie, if you're in a relationship and there seem to be these moments where you think the other person should be saying I love you, it's kind of one of those tender moments where those words seem to hang on the air and the other person is not saying it. Is this the time, I mean, Caroline will know, is this the time to think, well, actually, this girl isn't saying it, I'm bailing out, this is all wrong?
It's tricky, because I think that it depends on how long you're in the relationship for, but at some point you're going to have a bit of a cards on the table, not as in tell me that you love me or else I'm going to go, but where do we sort of stand here? You know, because obviously if you're not hearing I love you, you probably might be feeling I'm not really exactly certain of where we're going or what certain things mean in a relationship. And at least if you kind of have a conversation about things, it might kind of clarify some issues, or they might admit, you know what, I really do love you, but I find it very, very difficult to say it, but I will get there in time.
Yeah, but Caroline will testify, when you really feel it, you suddenly can say it, right?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It was like, bleh.
Well, but to be
It
fair,
felt brilliant, though.
That's not strictly true, because Caroline said that I love you to somebody who wasn't able to commit.
We wanted a happy ending, but we're not going to get one, are we?
No, but it was easier for me to say, because I know I can't have him. See, If I
Exactly.
say I love you and then they love me, then I'm stuck with them then.
John, does it really have to be this complicated?
No, I don't think so. I really don't think it does. And also, I think, it's important. I think a lot of people say they love somebody and then think it's all going to be sort of roses round the cottage door. And it isn't, is it? In all relationships, there are ups and downs, and you've got to work at it.
Well, as I said, Ben, can you just water the roses around the
That's
door?
not a change.
If you just water them, we wouldn't have dead roses
I
around
actually did that this
Did you
morning.
really do it?
Yeah, you'll be really
all
pleased
right
when we
then.
get
Well, then
home.
I love you. Thanks so much to Caroline and Natalie. John and Shane are staying with us after the break. Should you share everything, absolutely everything with your other half, including your bank account? Heart presenter Nicholas says she loves her fiancé. She hates the idea of him controlling her spending. But John says if you commit to sharing your life with someone, that should include your cash. Before that,